So we understand why it exists, and you've just touched on clubs selling academy players for profit, and that is a consequence of this model. Kieran, did people think that through? Was that the intended purpose, or is this sort of a loophole that no one considered at the time, and clubs have found, well, this is a good way to make some money?
I feel like this is me being a smug "I told you so" type of individual.
We want that. We want that.
Yeah, plenty of people already accuse me of that on a regular basis, it has to be said. I mean, when the rules were introduced, I went through, perhaps 10 or a dozen vehicles through which you could be, I wouldn't say creative accounting, but through which you could ensure that you complied with the rules by doing things which would not necessarily be in the best interest of the footballing side of the business. The reason why academy sales are so popular is that if you take a look at this concept of this 105 million loss, what is a profit or a loss? It's your total revenue, so it's your ticket sales plus your broadcast money plus your commercial income plus your profit on player sales. It's not the player sale, it's the profit on the player sale. That's all the costs of running the club. So if we take a club such as Chelsea, they signed Romelu Lukaku for 90, let's say it's 100 million. And he was on a 5-year contract. So that means his value decreases in the books by 20 million a year. At the end of year one of his contract, he's got a book value of 80 million. They had offers of 50 or 60 million, but they would say, well, his book value is 80. We've been offered 50. We would have an accounting loss of 50 million. If you sell Conor Gallagher, if you sell Mason Mount, if you sell Billy Gilmore, because they cost the players nothing, because they've come through the academy, I sell Conor Gallagher for 40 million. I've got a 40 million gain as opposed to a 30 million loss if I sold Lukaku, even though we would have generated more money. So you then have, what's the purpose of academies, especially when at the elite level, relatively few of these players actually come through to play for the first team. And I had a meeting with an academy director a couple of years ago, and he or she said to me, when I was talking about, from the financial point of view, he said, I signed up for this job because I want to develop youth at this particular football club. I am now seen as a profit center by the bean counters, by the accountants, and I effectively have a target that even for the players that aren't breaking through, if I can get 3 or 4 deals done in, say, the 5 to 10 million pound bracket, because this is a senior club in the Premier League, and therefore you effectively kike mark, don't you? If you're good enough to get into the academy of Manchester United or Liverpool or Chelsea, whoever it's going to be, then the perception is from the rest of the football market, well, you must be really good, and this is what we are now seeing. And from the perspective of any football romantic, and I look on this screen and I see nothing but romance, of course. It is a bit icky, isn't it? Because ultimately what we are talking about is the commoditization of children in order to comply with financial rules which weren't really thought through when they were originally designed.